NordVPN.com/Fightful. 4 months free, a 30-day money-back guarantee. It works on all your devices, phone, laptop, desktop, PC, router, doesn't matter. It's got you covered. Change your virtual location with just one click. Get access to more content around the globe and content at a much more affordable price. Protect yourself from online trackers, malware, annoying pop-up ads. NordVPN.com/Fightful. How are you going to pass this up? It effectively pays for itself within about a month or two of using it, especially if you buy pay-per-views like I do. Get access to the old WWE network, those things that you miss with NordVPN.com/Fightful. And you get that incredible deal. They've got 3 great tiers for you to choose from. So check it out, whether you want to pass, a VPN, a locker, or all 3. NordVPN.com/Fightful has you covered. What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful, here with a guy Chad Gable. I first interviewed you back at the Arnold Classic. I think it was 2015, 2016.
Old NXT days.
Those, they were incredible. Yeah. And there was something that really stuck out to me about that day. I think you were wrestling Simon Gotch. Okay. Incredible. One of my favorite things to watch was from that. And we're at a special Olympics event right now. And I noticed Jason Jordan the entire time. He was supposed to be up managing you.
Sure.
And he found a couple children with special needs. Yeah. And he instead was talking them through the match. Okay. And he was getting them to heckle you during the match. Yeah. We're at this wonderful Special Olympics event in San Antonio now. How would you compare these? WWE has put you in a situation where you're in arenas, you're in events like this, you're at the Arnold Sports Festival, you're all over the place.
It's so cool. We do so many different appearances, and you just listed like a handful of seems endless. Like we've done so many. And I have personally asked privately to be like heavily involved with the Special Olympics stuff specifically, just because, first of all, I have an Olympic background, but also a personal tie as my nephew has epilepsy. He's heavily involved with Special Olympics. He does sports in Minnesota. And you take away so much from these things, like the kids and their attitudes and their energy and their work ethic is it's unbelievable. And then you watch them do this stuff, and I'm pouring sweat from helping them out and cheering them on all day. I'm amped up. I want to go wrestle, but it's so wholesome and it's so inspiring to watch them. So you leave these things thinking this is what I'm meant to be doing. This is the kind of stuff you're giving back. The wrestling all is great. I love the wrestling, but when you can have an effect on people like this, it's really shows you're doing the right thing. It feels great.
And coming from your background, a lot of times pro wrestlers are hit with the stigma of, do they have the personality? Right. Will they connect with the people? Right. And that's not something you've had any trouble with at all. In fact, it's been one of your strong suits, and that's saying a lot because so many people look forward to your in-ring work. What's that like for you when you've got little kids, even when you're a bad guy on TV, coming up and saying your catchphrase to you?
It's so cool, and I think that's maybe the sign that you got it right is that you could be the bad guy on TV and get booed or whatever when you're supposed to. But when people see you out or in public, they want to talk to you. They want to do your catchphrase and have a good time with you. And I think even the people in the arena are starting to find that same vibe with us, because it's a thing where I think they really are starting to love to hate us and not so much just not those guys again. And I think it just takes a while. It took me a long time to let the audience, let our WWE universe see that side of me, and everybody finds it eventually. You just got to find your own way there, man. Yeah.
I mentioned Jason Jordan earlier. What's it been like going from him being your tag partner to sometimes being your producer and coaching you through matches?
Well, I'll say I always say a pretty quick thank you every time I see Jason is producing my segment or my match that night, because not only does he gets it because he's been there. He's been a wrestler. He knows what it's like to be produced and to have people trying to help you in that manner. But him and I, and it's no joke when I say when we were a tag team, our mindsets, we were so similar. We were like brothers. We were so similar, exactly the same. And you'll hear every tag team say oh man, we're up and down the road together. We train together. We did all that. But we were like brothers, man. Everything we said, we could have finished each other's sentences. So when he's producing me now, he gets it. I get him and he gets me. So there's not too much headbutting. There's not too much even direction from him. He's he knows what to do. He knows what I'm going to tell him anyway. Let him do his thing.
I'm always so fascinated by your background because when you came out of the Olympics,
you had options. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you wanted to move into MMA, that would have been an option as well. Did you get recruited at all? Did you consider it at all?
I never really did. I wasn't as big of a fan as everyone else was. I didn't really follow it. I had watched the pay-per-views, and we'd get together at the training center and stuff and watch them, but like never resonated with me. And like I was a fan of pro wrestling since I was 6 years old, man. And I was one of the tape traders in the 90s, and like I have my old collection, and I was on all the message boards in the 90s when they were first becoming cool, and like real wrestling geek, like from the beginning, dude. So like that's all I ever wanted to do. This is all I ever wanted to do.
So like as you're like this, Olympic wrestler, you're like watching Too Cold Scorpio do like tumbleweed leg drops.
100%. Kabashi Masawa, I used to make my own like t-shirts and wear them to amateur wrestling tournaments. So like we're going to these amateur wrestling tournaments and guys are looking at my shirt. These guys in green and orange tights being like, those aren't Greco-Roman wrestlers there, but it was cool. I'd get singlets made in their colors and try to just emulate those guys. And pro wrestling was always my thing, man. Yeah. And I mean, obviously back then, like the size thing was still kind of an issue. So like everyone was still huge back then in the company. So in my mind, like I was always too small for it. And wrestling also, let me not act like amateur wrestling wasn't a passion of mine. It was like my life for 20 years. So it was what I also loved. But, when there's a choice of, are you going to make it in WWE or should you keep doing this wrestling thing? The choice was pretty clear back then, but it was my segue. So,
did you ever come across any other eventual pro wrestlers when you were in the ring? I talked to UFC fighter Gerald Harris, and he was like, Dolph Ziggler was the toughest guy I ever wrestled.
Wow. Interesting. I have never been asked that. Let me think.
And like Jeff Cobb ended up wrestling Yoel Romero, who was a UFC fighter.
And I knew Jeff Cobb's name when I was still competing in amateur wrestling, but we never kind of crossed paths, But no, but I did, I went out of my way to research all the guys, and especially Minnesota had a pretty cool history in wrestling with guys from the amateurs and guys like Brad Ragans, and I spoke to on the phone after I finished up, and he gave me some advice and stuff. And he had been through Japan and some other places, so it's just kind of cool, man, to carry on. Also, Minnesota's personal tradition in wrestling. It's cool to me.
Of course.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, I love amateur wrestling. Yeah. I took catch wrestling for a long time. Did you ever see anything within WWE, within pro wrestling, and be like, I can pull that off in the amateur ranks? I can pull that, or just a shoot grappling situation.
Dude, so in 2005, when I first transitioned from high school to senior level wrestling, they changed the Greco-Roman wrestling rules, which was my Olympic style, and they changed the clinch, which, long story short, it's you're a forced position you're put in, to this position where a guy is standing holding here. You've never seen so many legit power bombs in your life. Every tournament was guys, before everyone learned how to defend it, because they just threw these rules at us, everyone's getting guys up on their shoulders and just power bomb them. And I, truth be told, I got power bombed at Junior Worlds in 2005 by a guy from Estonia. I won the match, but I got power bombed and humiliated. But yes, I've seen many of those.
Chad Gable, I want to thank you so much. We're at the Special Olympics event here in San Antonio. They're doing great stuff here. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you, man. Nice to meet you. Well, no. Nice to meet you again.
For the first time in 7-8 years, though.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
Until next time, we're out.